Ladies and gentlemen, let me hit you with a truth bomb. You owe it to yourself to become everything they said you couldn't. You've been spending so much time worrying about what they think, what they'll say, and how they'll react. Meanwhile, you're on pause. That ends today. It's time to focus on yourself and shock everyone. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something just for you? Not for your parents, not for your boss, not for your Instagram followers, for you. Here's the thing people don't tell you. Nobody's coming to save you. Not your best friend, not your mentor, not your partner. You've got to save yourself by showing up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. This isn't about being selfish. This is about being responsible for your dreams, your energy, your potential. Because when you focus on you, you grow. And when you grow, you glow. People will start to notice the ones who doubted you, silenced. The ones who laughed at your goals, stunned. The ones who underestimated you, speechless. That's the shock. That's the power of private progress and loud results. But let's be real, this isn't easy. You're going to want to give up. You're going to feel lonely. You're going to battle your own excuses. But hear me now. When you stay consistent, when you stop scrolling and start building, when you stop comparing and start committing, you become dangerous. You don't need to announce your moves. You don't need to post your plans. Let your success be the noise. So the next time someone doubts you, smirks at you, or writes you off, smile and say to yourself, watch me. Because when you focus on yourself, you don't just grow, you shock the hell out of everyone. You don't need to wait for permission. Not from your parents, not from your friends, not from society, and definitely not from that little voice in your head that keeps asking, but what will they think? You are not here to live someone else's version of success. You're not on this earth to tiptoe around other people's comfort zones. You're here to build, to create, to evolve, and none of that starts until you give yourself the green light. Not tomorrow, not next month, not when the timing is right. Now. Because let me be brutally honest with you. No one is coming to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, it's your turn now. Life doesn't work like that. In fact, most people are too busy dealing with their own chaos to even notice your potential, let alone encourage it. So if you're sitting around waiting for someone to validate your dreams or crown you ready, you'll be sitting forever. You become unstoppable the second you realize you don't need anyone's permission to start. You already know what you want. You already feel that fire in your chest. You already hear that calling, even if it whispers sometimes, but you keep hesitating. You keep second-guessing yourself. You keep asking for opinions and weighing other people's comfort levels over your own desires. And that's what's killing your momentum. That's what's holding you back. That's what's keeping your greatness in neutral. You know what's wild? The moment you stop asking for permission is the same moment everything starts shifting. Because when you finally decide, I'm going all in on me, people feel it. The energy changes. Your actions change. You stop talking and start moving. You stop explaining and start executing. And suddenly, you're doing more in a week than you've done in a year because you're no longer seeking approval from people who were never meant to understand your vision. Understand this. They don't need to get it. Your dream was planted in your soul for a reason. It's yours to water, yours to nurture, yours to fight for. Not everyone is going to clap when you rise. Not everyone will be comfortable when you start putting yourself first. You might even lose a few people along the way. But if losing them means finding you, that's a trade worth making every time. And no, it's not selfish. It's necessary. We've been brainwashed to believe that putting yourself first is arrogance or ego, when really it's responsibility. If you don't invest in your mind, your peace, your purpose, who will? You can't pour into others if you're running on empty. You can't inspire anyone from a place of burnout. You owe it to the people you love to show up as the most alive, most authentic, most unapologetic version of yourself. And that begins when you stop asking, is it okay if I, and start declaring, I'm doing this. Here's what's beautiful. Once you stop waiting for permission, your entire identity shifts. You stop identifying as someone who's trying, and you become someone who does. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You start building habits that align with who you want to be, not who others expect you to be. You start showing up to the gym even when nobody's watching. You stay consistent with your business even when nobody's clapping. You move in silence. You operate with focus. And people start wondering what changed. You changed. Because you finally stopped playing small to fit into rooms you've outgrown. And listen, it's scary. There's risk involved. There's discomfort. But here's the raw truth. Comfort is a silent killer. It will keep you in the same loop for years. It will keep your dreams in draft mode forever. But when you stop waiting, when you choose action over approval, everything shifts. Not because it gets easier, but because you get bolder. So take the class, start the business, post the content, say no without guilt, set the boundary, apply for the job you don't feel qualified for, write the book, change the city, walk away, speak up, rebuild, reinvent, evolve. You are the only one who can decide how this chapter of your life goes. You don't need a round of applause to begin. You don't need the perfect conditions to launch. You don't need anyone else to get it. You just need to give yourself permission. Not when you're ready, not when it's perfect. Now, self-discipline isn't punishment. It's not about depriving yourself or grinding endlessly without rest. It's not about hustle culture or toxic productivity. It's about respect. Respect for your future self. It's about showing up when you say you will. It's about keeping promises to the person in the mirror. And more than anything, it's the highest form of self-love. You don't need more motivation. You need more follow-through. Because motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. It shows up when it wants to. But self-discipline, that's reliable. That's steady. That's what separates people who talk from people who build. You can't rely on waking up in the mood. You need systems. You need standards. You need to decide that no matter how tired, uninspired, or uncomfortable you feel, you're going to do what needs to be done. That's what turns potential into power. Let me be real with you. Feelings are liars. Your brain will try to talk you out of doing the work every single day. It will feed you excuses like, you deserve to rest, or you've done enough, or you can start tomorrow. And yeah, rest is important. But most of the time, you're not tired, you're uncommitted, you're not burned out, you're undisciplined. You don't need more breaks. You need to get honest with yourself. You're never going to wake up every morning excited to go to the gym, eat clean, work on your goals, or make difficult decisions. But if you wait for the excitement to come first, you'll be waiting forever. Self-discipline means you go anyway. You log in anyway. You say no to what doesn't serve you anyway. You turn off the distractions, close the tabs, silence the noise, and lock in on you. And here's the beauty of it. Every single act of discipline becomes a deposit into your confidence account. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you teach your brain that you're serious. Every time you choose consistency over chaos, you prove to yourself that you're capable. Every time you show up when it would be easier to quit, you build trust with yourself. That trust becomes the foundation for self-esteem, and that's where the real transformation begins. You want to love yourself? Stop giving up on yourself. Stop talking yourself out of your own greatness. Stop ghosting your goals. If you say you're going to start waking up early, do it. If you say you're going to stop scrolling and start writing, do it. If you say you're going to stop settling for less than you deserve, then stop. Because when your actions and your intentions don't align, it doesn't just affect your progress, it breaks your own heart. It chips away at your identity. And that's what most people don't see. Discipline isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about being loyal to yourself. It's about saying, I care enough about my life, my peace, and my purpose to take control of it. It's about choosing what's right over what's easy. Choosing progress over pity. Choosing power over procrastination. You're not weak for struggling. You're not a failure for falling off. But you've got to get back up. You've got to recommit. You've got to remind yourself why you started. There's a version of you on the other side of self-discipline that you haven't even met yet. They're stronger, sharper, focused, peaceful, unbothered. That version of you is not some fantasy, it's waiting on your decision. Not a perfect decision, just a consistent one. So maybe you don't have the hype squad. Maybe no one's cheering you on. Maybe you're doing this silently, in the shadows, with no praise and no spotlight. Good. That's where the real work happens. Because when it's just you and the grind, no audience, no applause, that's where the strongest foundation is built. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you build that foundation, brick by brick, day by day, meal by meal, rep by rep. You stop waiting to feel like it, and you become the type of person who does it anyway. You want to shock people, you want to elevate, you want to evolve, then start showing up for yourself like it's your full-time job. Start treating your habits like sacred rituals. Start taking your own life seriously. Because once you start doing that, everything else will follow. Your energy, your clarity, your body, your bank account, your peace, all of it improves when you improve. But it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens through daily, unsexy, unglamorous, disciplined action. And eventually, people will look at you and say, you've changed. And you'll smile and say, damn right I have. Because this time, you didn't just talk about it. You became it. Keep your head down. Do the work. Let your results talk. That's the formula. Not attention seeking. Not shouting your goals from the rooftops. Not performing for likes or approval. The world has enough people talking about what they're going to dow hat it needs more of are people who quietly build, then drop results so loud they can't be ignored. You don't need to explain your every move. You don't need to post your grind. You don't need to document your healing, your hustle, your whole process. What you need is focus and patience and relentless execution. Because while everyone else is chasing validation, you're choosing elevation. While they're broadcasting plans, you're constructing proof. There's something powerful about working in silence, about turning off the noise, shutting the door, and getting real with your mission. Because the truth is, not everyone is rooting for you. Not everyone understands you. And not everyone deserves access to your process. Let them see the outcome. Let them watch from a distance. Because your progress, that's your business. And your success, that's your statement. You see, when your goals are private, they stay protected. You don't have to defend them. You don't have to justify your ambition. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just move. You wake up and take care of your body. You build your vision step by step. You read, you train, you heal, you create, all in the shadows, all without applause, and one day, boom, you arrive. And the same people who questioned you now want to know how you did it. The answer? You were too busy working to explain. Private progress is sacred. It gives you the space to make mistakes, adjust, grow without judgment. You get to fail quietly and restart without shame. You get to experiment and explore without someone breathing down your neck. And most importantly, you don't waste energy explaining to people who are never going to understand your mission in the first place. Let them be shocked. Let them assume you disappeared, fell off, gave up. Good, that's fuel. Because while they were watching for signs, you were stacking silent wins. While they were gossiping or doubting, you were building something that would outlast their opinions. That's the power of restraint. Social media can trick you into thinking that everything has to be shared. That if it's not online, it didn't happen. That if you're not seen working, you're not actually grinding. But that's false. Some of the most legendary transformations happen behind closed doors. Some of the strongest people you'll ever meet went through battles you never knew about. They didn't post. They didn't vent. They just got better. Be that person. The one who's not looking for claps but is chasing clarity. The one who's not trying to impress but is obsessed with improving. Because when the results come, they hit harder. They're undeniable. And the best part? You didn't have to prove anything. You just became something different. People often say, I'll show them. But showing them doesn't mean arguing. It doesn't mean over-explaining. It doesn't mean trying to force them to believe in you. Showing them means staying so locked in on your vision that one day your presence, your glow, your discipline, your peace says everything for you. That's the revenge. That's the victory. Not petty, not loud, not bitter, powerful, quiet, complete. Because here's the truth. People don't respect words, they respect results. And when you go from talking to doing, from posting to producing, from explaining to executing, your whole energy changes. People feel it before they even hear about it. You move differently. You carry yourself with a grounded confidence, not arrogance, not ego, just a deep knowing that you did this, you earned this, you became this. And it's not just about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. That little voice inside of you that keeps whispering, you're meant for more. You owe it to that voice to follow through. Not by making noise, but by making moves. This is your permission slip to disappear for a while, if you have to isolate, to turn down the volume on the outside world so you can hear yourself think, to stop talking and start building, to show up every day for your vision, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. Because here's what happens. Private progress becomes public power. Quiet growth becomes loud transformation. And when the results hit, they won't just see the change, they'll feel it. Let them be shocked. Let them ask, when did this happen? Let them wonder how you did it. And when they do, you don't need to explain. Just smile. Because that's what happens when you focus, grind, and evolve in silence. Your success speaks volumes. Your life is a direct reflection of what you consistently focus on. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Every thought, every habit, every choice, it's all being shaped by what you're giving your attention to. And the wild part, most people are unaware of just how distracted they are. They think they're stuck, unmotivated, or unlucky, but the truth is they're just unfocused. We live in a world that's fighting for our attention every second of the day. Notifications, noise, opinions, endless scrolling. It's designed to keep you busy but unfulfilled, active but unproductive, stimulated but stagnant. And unless you take control of your focus, your energy will keep getting drained by things that don't build you, serve you, or grow you. If you're serious about leveling up, your first job is to protect your focus like it's your life, because it is your time, your peace, your progress. It's all riding on what you give your energy to. You can't keep pouring yourself into gossip, distractions, or drama and expect to build a life that's driven by purpose, peace, and power. You don't get transformation from chaos. You get it from clarity. And clarity only comes when you slow down, zoom in, and direct your attention with intention. Start paying attention to what's getting your energy. Are you spending your mental bandwidth worrying about what others think? Are you caught up in comparing yourself to everyone online? Are you obsessing over things you can't control while ignoring the things you can? That's a focus problem. And a focus problem always becomes a results problem. If your energy is going to distractions, your life will feel distracted. If your focus is on negativity, you'll start to believe your life is negative. But the second you shift that focus to solutions, to growth, to goals, everything begins to change. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's alignment. Asterisk, asterisk. You can want peace, but if your focus is on drama, you'll keep attracting chaos. You can want success, but if your energy is on other people's timelines, you'll keep doubting your own. You can want progress, but if your attention is split in a million directions, you'll never move with power. Energy flows where focus goes. That means if you want a better body, you focus on the food you eat, the movement you commit to, the recovery you give yourself. If you want a stronger mindset, you focus on your thoughts, your inputs, your environment. If you want more income, you focus on skills, opportunities, consistency. Not comparison, not excuses, not complaining. And no, this doesn't mean you never get distracted. It doesn't mean you live like a robot. You're human. You'll slip, you'll scroll, you'll waste time sometimes. But the difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck, it's not perfection, it's awareness. Asterisk, growth-minded people catch themselves. They course correct. They audit their focus often, and they ask, is this building me or breaking me? You have to be ruthless with your energy. Learn to say no without guilt. Set boundaries with your time. Prioritize deep work over shallow distraction. Start your day with intention instead of immediately reacting to the world. Choose silence over noise. Choose creation over consumption. Choose depth over distraction. Because when you take control of your focus, you take control of your life. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem disciplined, driven, at peace with themselves. It's not because they have more time. It's not because they're lucky. It's because they've trained themselves to focus on what matters. They've built the muscle of attention. And that's what you need to start doing to build your focus muscle like your future depends on it. Because it does. The most powerful shift you can make is to stop letting the outside world dictate your attention and start giving it back to yourself, back to your goals, back to your peace. Back to the things that light you up, stretch you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. You don't need permission to protect your peace, guard your energy, or put yourself first. That's not selfish, it's survival. Because the truth is, not everyone in your life is meant to go with you to the next level. And the faster you learn to release what no longer aligns, the faster you'll rise. Too often, we hold on to relationships, habits, environments, and expectations that drain us because we're afraid of what letting go might look like. We don't want to hurt feelings, rock the boat, or stand alone. But let me tell you this, elevation requires separation. Growth will cost you comfort. It will cost you approval. It will cost you the old version of yourself, and sometimes it will cost you people who once felt like home. But here's what's real. If you keep trying to shrink yourself to fit the spaces you've outgrown, you will suffocate. If you keep over-explaining your decisions to people who were never meant to understand your vision, you will stay stuck. And if you keep waiting for everyone to get on board with your healing, your goals, your purpose, you'll miss your calling trying to win over people who were never clapping for you in the first place. You are allowed to outgrow people without resentment. You are allowed to evolve beyond conversations that no longer serve you. You are allowed to upgrade your circle, your mindset, your life without apology. This is your journey. And the more you start honoring that, the more powerful you become. Not everyone is going to understand your grind. Not everyone is going to clap for your discipline, your boundaries, your silence. Some will mock you, some will question you. Some will say, you've changed, and they'll be right. You have changed because you decided to take control. You decided to stop playing small. You decided to stop dimming your light to keep others comfortable. That decision, that's sacred. That's bold. That's powerful. You have to be okay with being misunderstood. You have to get comfortable with walking alone sometimes, because the road to your higher self isn't always crowded. In fact, the more aligned you become with who you're meant to be, the fewer people will be able to reach you. That's not lonelies, that's elevation. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't even understand the weight you're carrying. Stop justifying your boundaries. Stop feeling bad for doing what's best for your peace. The real ones will understand. The ones meant to walk with you will feel your energy without needing an explanation. And the ones who don't, bless them and keep moving. You don't need a cheering squad to validate your path. You don't need group approval to chase a dream that keeps you up at night. You don't need everyone's understanding to honor your healing, your ambition, your rest, your vision. What you do need is to stop second-guessing yourself every time someone else gets uncomfortable with your growth. Protect your space. Protect your time. Protect your energy. And most importantly, protect your mind. Because people will project their limitations onto you and call it advice. They'll tell you to be realistic when you're actually being brave. They'll try to water down your dreams because they gave up on theirs. That's not your burden to carry. Let people talk. Let them question. Let them fall away. Your job isn't to drag everyone with you. Your job is to become so aligned with your truth that anything not meant for you falls off naturally. No drama, no arguments, just growth. And yes, it might get lonely. Yes, it might be uncomfortable. But you know what's worse? Staying in environments that keep you small. Playing roles that don't reflect your soul. Pretending you're okay with a life that doesn't excite you. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't born to be liked by everyone. You weren't born to live on repeat, waiting for someone else's permission to evolve. You were born